What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. I have the brand new KS6 Pro from Yadea. They sent me this unit to do an unboxing for you guys and also to test it out and give you my unbiased opinion. So when you receive this unit, it's going to be taped up on the sides as well as 3 locations, which I've already opened up on the front of the unit. And I like that as soon as you open this up, it gives you the instructions. Remove the scooter, fasten the handlebars on the head, and then put down the kickstand, attach the handle. On the left-hand side, we have a little packet, and inside this packet, I'm assuming it's the instruction manual as well as the little hexagon screw that they were talking about. And then we get some foam packaging to make sure this baby is unharmed during transport. We get 2, 1 on each side. And then on the left-hand side, here's what looks like the AC adapter. The AC adapter says Yadea on it. I like that a lot because this isn't some generic AC adapter that they bought from one of their partners. They actually customized this. All right, so with that out of the way, let's clip this into place so we can lift it right up. All right, that's that. Underneath the head stem, as you can see, there's another piece of foam. And now I think we're ready to remove the unit from the box. First impression of the scooter. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, you already know I had 2 scooters prior to my Segway P100S. And I'm pretty much familiar with the build quality of anywhere between a $400 unit all the way up to a $2,000 unit. So looking at this, build quality, fit and finish, everything looks top notch. But I think now I'm going to finish up with inserting the bolts into here and making sure everything is good, and then charging it up to 100% and then taking it out on its first test ride, because the first test ride that I take it on with 100% battery life should tell me pretty much everything I need to know about the scooter. All right, so back to that little bag that had all the little stuff inside of it, instruction manual and the screws. Let's see what's inside here. Okay, so we have a Yadea scooter warranty. And then besides that, we have a instruction manual, and then you have a certificate of qualification. What this basically means is that it passed quality inspection. So it's nice that they included this because someone actually looked at this before they put it inside the box and signed off on it, which is amazing. You don't really see scooter companies doing that these days. And then there's a little extension for the tire inflator. I knew there was something else in here. I felt it, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And then here are the nuts that fixes the head into place. All right, time to get cracking. Like I mentioned before, the fit and finish on this is really, really nice, and it's got a very loud bell, as you can hear. So let's go ahead and turn it on for the first time, see what happens.
A few minutes later.
All right, guys, I didn't realize this, but the head unit was not connected to the base. So I had to open up the screws, connect the wires into place, and plug it back up. And now it's connected, and I also connected the app with it. To connect the unit to the app, they give you a QR code that's specific to your scooter. And then afterwards, it communicates via Bluetooth. But anyway, let's turn this on for the first time so you guys can see what it looks like. There it is. So now it's charging, and currently we are at 46%.
2 hours later.
Before we begin this comprehensive review, I wanted to first mention that Yadea is not just another company out of China making scooters for Amazon. In fact, they're a company that was founded in 2001 in Hong Kong, and at the current moment, like Segway 9bot, they're a public company. So that means this company has been around for a long time, and they've perfected their game in China, and now they're making scooters for the North American market. With that being said, not only do I have high hopes for the company, but for the scooter as well. Now, as far as the specs of this electric scooter, it comes with a rear-wheel drive 500-watt motor. The motor is capable of 18.6 miles an hour from a standstill. And the great thing is that you can conquer 20-degree hills with this unit. This electric scooter comes in 3 riding modes. The first riding mode is just for a walking pace. You're going to be doing 3.7 miles an hour, perfect for those situations where you're walking with someone and you don't want to go too fast or too slow. The second mode is your middle tier, which you're going to be doing about 9.3 miles an hour. Great for busy locations or if you're weaving in between people. And then finally, once you're on the main road, you can kick it up into sport mode and do a full 18.6 miles per hour with the scooter. Besides that, Yadea claims that you can go 34 miles on a full charge with the scooter, and it has a 15.3 amp hour lithium-ion battery. And so now let's move on to the aesthetics of the scooter. The first thing I want to talk about is the scooter's front dual shocks. I tested it not only on grass, but also on some bumpy surfaces, and it handles way better than the S2 Max scooter I previously had, as well as the Highboy, which didn't have the front fork suspension. Besides that, you get 10-inch self-healing tires, you have disc brakes in the rear, and since this is rear-wheel drive, you're also going to get electronic braking in the rear as well. And let's not forget, the rear also has a light. Regardless if you turn your lights on or not, the rear light is permanently on, which I like a lot because there are some units that in order for the rear light to work, you need to first turn on your front light. I want to show you how the folding mechanism works. Let's give that a try right now. At the base of the unit, there's a little button. You push the button and then the front mechanism opens up. This little hook is for the rear tailpiece, which snaps into place, allowing you now to carry it wherever you need to get to. The only thing I probably don't like about it is that it doesn't align well with the back of the unit, so the left-hand side is going to stick out a little bit.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So I think we are ready now to take this bad boy on its first ride. At the current moment, it is set for kilometers per hour. So right now, hands off the throttle. As you can see, cruise control is working. All you need to do is hold it down for about 3 to 5 seconds, and it activates on its own. Now let's kick it up into the middle tier, which is the standard mode, and see how fast it goes in standard mode. Standard mode is 15 kilometers per hour, which translates to 9.6 miles per hour, or 9.3, I forgot which one. But once again, holding it down for a couple seconds, and it activates cruise control. This mode is perfect while you're on pathways such as this. There are going to be people walking, and you don't want to fly by people doing 18 miles an hour. So this is perfect in those type of situations. But now we're going to kick it into sport mode and probably stay there for the duration of this ride. Sport mode is going to take us all the way to 18.6 miles an hour. And there was a little jump right there. We took that with ease. Acceleration with the scooter in sport mode is instant. Currently displaying 30 kilometers per hour. I'm assuming that that is its maximum 18.6. So right now we are in the busy streets. However, in a little bit, we're going to get to some sections where we got some downhills and a very, very steep hill. I usually like to take scooters on and test them out. And so we're going to try out the hill climb capabilities of the scooter very shortly. But in the meantime, the deck of the scooter, I'm assuming, is somewhere around 6 to 7 inches. Plenty of space for both of your feet. This scooter does a fairly good job of making sure that you're really comfortable, especially with the dual front forks that are in the front. So this is some bumpy surfaces right here, and it's doing really well. Normally, other scooters would fail that test, but on that bumpy surface, it did really, really well. But we're going to have a lot more bumpy surfaces to deal with, so stay tuned. It's coming. So we started off with 5 battery bars. And we are down 1 battery bar. It'll be interesting to see how much battery life we have left at the end of this test ride. The test ride we're going to be doing is probably anywhere between an 8 or 10 mile round trip, but we got a lot of hills to climb on this test ride, and I want to see how this thing does. There's a hill coming up right now, and this hill is not the steepest hill we're going to be going up against, but this is going to be the first hill, nonetheless. All right, hill climb number 1. The camera is probably not going to do a good job of showing you guys this hill, but going up with 4 bars, we're doing 26 kilometers per hour, 23 kilometers per hour, 22, 21, 20. We're at 20 kilometers per hour, and I'm assuming this is 15 miles an hour. Or 14. Now we're up to 23, and it's leveling off a little bit. That's very impressive, guys. Honestly, that's very impressive. But, like I said, steepest hill is yet to come. As far as stopping power is concerned, the front drum brakes as well as the rear disc brake and the electronic rear brake do a really good job of stopping you. Let's go right next to this bike over here.
How's it going? You want to race?
No,
No?
I got a slower start.
Oh, come on. Pedal power versus electric. I'll give you a head start.
Oh yeah, that's
See ya. Ride safe. She didn't want to race. That's all good. So we're going to give the brakes a real good test right now. Stopping from 30 kilometers. Wow, look at that. So from 30 kilometers per hour to 0, I say that's pretty impressive with a combination of all 3 brakes. All right, so this is the portion of the video where we're going to be going downhill. And then once we get downhill, we're going to come back up this hill and I'll let you guys know how it performs. But in the meantime, I can already tell you that the scooter does not slow you down. I don't think it has a detection of how fast you're going. It'll just continue to go faster. But once it leveled off, I noticed that the speed slowed down back to 30 kilometers per hour. So while it's leveling off, I think it's programmed to make sure that you're less than 19 miles an hour. But when you're going downhill, I don't think it's programmed to slow down, because right now I'm doing 39 kilometers per hour going down this hill. And I gotta be honest with you guys, it feels pretty sketch. It's not very stable. With small 10-inch tires, it's pretty unsafe to go faster than 18, 20 miles an hour. But if I let it go, it'll continue to go faster and faster. But as I mentioned before, it gets very unstable. I can feel it on the handlebars. But man, these brakes, they're fantastic. They slow you down very quickly. 33 kilometers per hour, slamming on the brakes. And the great thing is that it's not skidding on the front or the rear tires. On my Segway, believe it or not, $2,000 scooter and they skid. What a nice guy. Thank you. 34 kilometers per hour and just hit cruise control. All right, guys, we are officially in the bumpy section of this test ride. Here we go. If you wear glasses and you're going to be going through the bumpy surface I'm going, you know it's going to hurt your nose pretty badly. So let's see how this works out. Yeah, so I'm going to keep talking while we're going through this bumpy surface. And by the time we're done, I'll let you know if my nose is hurting or not. Well, to be honest with you, it's not so bad, because I think the tires on the scooter do a pretty good job of smoothing out the bumps. And of course, let's not forget, you also have the dual front suspension. Overall, I would give the suspension and the comfort riding through very bumpy surfaces at maximum 18.6 miles an hour. I would probably give it a 6 out of 10. It's not exactly super smooth, but it's not exactly the bumpiest either. So we just took that little bump right there. So I felt the front suspension compress. If that front suspension wasn't there, it would have hurt bad. All right, so why don't we take out the app now and see how much battery life we have left. So here's the Yadea app. All you got to do is slide the little thing to the right and then it connects. And as you can see here, I had 100% battery life left, but currently have 68%. Anyway, guys, time to go back up that hill now. All right, let's fast forward this video. Going up this slight hill, we're doing 30 kilometers per hour, which is already pretty impressive. The hill is getting more steep and we are doing 25 kilometers per hour now, but the real test begins here, guys. 20 kilometers per hour going up a pretty steep hill. We're not even at the steepest one yet, but I would say that this is almost as steep as the hill we're going to be going up against. 18 kilometers per hour. We're using all 500 watts of the motor because I see all the dotted lines lit up at the top of the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it too. Here we are, the steepest part of the hill. And I honestly think that this is the steepest hill in all of San Diego. We're doing 16 kilometers per hour, 14 kilometers per hour, 13 kilometers per hour, 12 kilometers per hour, cycling between 11 and 12 kilometers per hour. And I'm going to assume that this is about 7 or 8 miles an hour. 9 kilometers per hour. This is walking pace, guys. It seems to be struggling just a tad. And as I showed you before, we are at 68% charge. Well, that was the hill climb test. Quite honestly, guys, that is a very, very steep hill, and I highly doubt many people are going to be going up and down those type of hills with scooters. With 68% battery life left, we did anywhere between 3 to 10 miles per hour.
2 hours later.
This scooter is pretty awesome. Not only does it accelerate very quickly, but it has very, very nice components. The fit and finish of this thing, it's absolutely rock solid. While I was riding it, there's no squeaks, there's no rattles. As far as the suspension is concerned, it's as advertised. It smooths out the bumps, and it did a very good job of making the road feel a lot more plush than having a scooter without the suspension built in. The only thing I probably don't like about it is the way it folds in half. One side is lopsided than the other, and I just wish that everything was pretty much flush. But it's a small little niggle. It's not something that's a deal breaker for me. As you saw in the steepest hill in all of San Diego, it did pretty well. It climbed up the hill nonetheless, even though it was pretty slow, but not everyone is going to climb that kind of hill. Overall, it's a fantastic scooter, and if you guys are interested to learn a little bit more, there's a link down below, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Ciao for now.